When I die, don't bury me, because this body needs no stone of memory. And when I die, don't bury me, just take my ashes to my Father in the deep blue sea. When it's my time to leave this world, take me quickly, please, oh Lord. I don't want to linger longer than my soul or spirit can afford. I don't need no fancy gravestone, nor a shiny box of wood. Take the money you've been spending, give some more to those who need it. When I die, don't bury me, 'cause this body needs no stone of memory. When I die, don't bury me, just take my ashes to the deep blue sea. I will see you on the other side of this life without grief. The devil will have no hold on us, no tender souls, no taint, I believe. Yeah, when I die, don't bury me, 'cause this body needs no stone of memory. Yeah. When I die, don't bury me, just take my ashes to the deep blue sea. I have been in hard times like this, stuck in the valley with no way out. Where we're heading is nothing like here. I'll be ready to hear my Father shout. There won't be no trumpets blowing, no angels crying for me. 'Cause I'm a sinner, born of this world, but I want Jesus to be set free. Yeah, when I die, don't bury me, 'cause this body needs no stone of memory. Yeah. When I die, don't bury me, just take my ashes to the deep blue sea. When I die, when I die, when I die, don't bury me, just take my ashes to the deep blue sea. Take my ashes to the deep blue sea. Take my ashes to my Father in the deep blue sea.
Alright, here we go. Here we go. Here we go. Where'd that chord go? There it is. So Club Passim is one of my favorite places to play in the world. It's kind of a speakeasy of sorts down in Harvard Square in Cambridge, Mass. And I've done 2 live records there, but every time I go there, I feel like I need to have something new to play. So there have been a lot of songs that have been written in response to my needing to have something new showing up there. And I used to live not too far from there in Porter Square, Somerville. 29 Craigie Street near the Leechmere Car Wash. And I used to be able to ride my bike down there, which was awesome. I also, when I was there playing live shows in sort of the height of my time of living there, I would play 4 shows, and I think we recorded this record over the course of 4 shows and put it together. And I can't remember if it was this record or it was the Side Streets record from 2001, but brought my entire living room with me, which I think was like a futon and a couch and a lamp. That's probably all I owned back then. And brought it and put it on stage with me. And the stage is pretty small, but it was a delightful thing. I also brought the deer, if you were with me for the Christmas album. The deer is actually still outside hanging from the magnolia tree, and I have a feeling it may stay up there till Christmas at this point. But there was something sweet about being able to sit in my living room, sort of like I am doing right now, and to make music and to have friends surround and to have you virtually where you are. Time you should feel the need to leave, I would understand. It's hard for me even to believe that you could take me for the man I am. You must see something that no one else can see, and that's why I'm giving you, giving you all of me, yeah. Should you stay, would it make a difference if I never changed my ways? Yes. I heard you say something's gotta give, 'cause I can't figure out this mystery. And if we give this thing a name, baby, love is not a game. It's bigger than you, smarter than me. And if I gotta give you something, might as well be everything. That's why I'm giving you. When I was everything, when it was only me, you know everything felt like a nothing. When I was everything, when it was only me, you know everything felt like a nothing. But this ain't nothing, this is something, this is everything. That's why I'm giving you all. Giving you, yeah, I'm giving you everything, giving you all of me. And if we give this thing a name, baby, love is not a game. No, it's bigger than you, smarter than me. And if I gotta give you something, you and I both know it better be everything. That's why I'm giving you, giving you, giving you, giving you, giving you, yeah, giving you, giving you, giving you all of me. I'm giving you all. Giving you all, giving you, giving you, giving you, giving you all of me, giving you, yeah, giving you all of me. Thank you. Kind of came from the When I Was Everything album. that we did a few weeks ago. Song about my wife. Who rocks? And she's on the comments, so you can say hello to her. And yes. So I was debating about whether to try to memorize the stories from this album, because I know that the first live record that I did, I didn't have anything to say apparently in my early 20s when I did that record, so it was just songs after song, song after song. And then this record I had a lot to say in 2008 when we recorded, I think. And it was fun to be able to put stories in, and live records are kind of funny because you want those folks that are listening to be engaged in it, but you also don't want to, they may just want to fast forward through the stories, like after they've heard them a whole bunch, like, and if that's you, you can raise your hand and put it in the comments there. Let's fix this here so I can see what people are saying. And so in this album, we sort of made each talking point a story of sorts, and the particular story that goes with this, it's actually kind of funny because as I said in the album, at one point I was a carny, and most folks don't know that about me, but 25 years ago, actually today's date, 25 years ago, I jumped in a van with a whole bunch of crazy people, and we drove from Puyallup, Washington to the Tulsa State Fair, where I ran this ride. And I've got a dear friend here tonight. His name is Dave Trout, and he does this amazing, he has this amazing nonprofit called UTR Media. And so we're gonna, he's sort of sponsoring the night, if you will. And so I'm gonna ask a few questions, and you're gonna get some swag, just like we did at the Christmas show a couple weeks ago. And the first question is, what was the name of the ride that I was a carny for? Oh, Andy Pilcher is the winner. There you go. How about that? Good job, Andy. Before I even got the question out of my mouth, I appreciate it. So I worked this ride called the ejection seat, and it was basically a reverse bungee, which sounds kind of odd, but it was a reverse bungee, and there were two 120-foot poles and wires that went over those poles, and they connected to two large bungee cords, and those bungee cords connected, as I said in this album, something as simple, to a spherical chair. I don't know where that came from when I recorded the record, but spherical chair, and it came out of my mouth kind of funny actually in the recording of that, but people would pay money to sit in this spherical chair. Say that 10 times fast, spherical chair. And then it was a very simple physics problem that when you turned the motor on, the wires would retract. And as the spherical chair went into the air, we would put a little hook on the bottom of it, and then the rest was just physics. And the bungees would stretch 3 times. And then all you had to do was just release the lever. And then these beautiful people would soar into the air, pulling 5 Gs. And if it was a good ride, at the very, very pinnacle of when the chair hit the top of the probably 150, 160, 170 feet, if it was a perfect ride, the chair would just sort of flip over, and then they would be staring straight down. And I went to the Tulsa State Fair with these folks I didn't know, just because why not? That's what you can do when you're 25 years old. You can jump in a car and go with a whole bunch of random people to a place that you've never been before, just for the experience. I was probably seeking writing inspiration. And I jumped in the car and I went with these folks, and we set up shop at the Tulsa State Fair on the Midway. And across the Midway, I love that word, across the Midway was a gigantic musical stage, and we got to hear three young blonde-haired brothers they were named Hanson, but back then I think they just, I don't know what they were called, but every day, several times a day, I had a chance to listen to Hanson sing Bop and just watch little girls throw underwear at them, even when they were like 13. It was frightening. I remember sitting at a picnic table, and they were during one of my lunch breaks, and just watching them going, what is going on? What is happening? That was before they became a big thing. I don't even know if they still make music. I think they do. Do they still make music? But I bet they've never written a song about being a carny, right? I've been practicing standing with my back up against the wall, the impression ready to get cold. 'Cause I'm still the man if you really think I can save you from it all. 'Cause I can't even save myself. I'm my own one-man wrecking ball. The circus is coming to town. Everybody knows I'm coming down. The circus is coming to town. Everybody knows I'm coming down, down, down. I used to dream of flying till my feet left the ground. Now I leap over buildings and sing. Go bound, scaling heights under cover of night is not what brings me down. It's my fear of falling and that you'll really find me out. The circus is coming to town. Everybody knows I'm coming down. The circus is coming to town. Everybody knows I'm coming down, 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 down. The big top, the bright lights. This road show must need a man of steel who can hold up the illusion that everything in this world seems real. The circus is coming to town, and everybody knows I'm coming down. The circus is coming to town, and everybody knows. The circus is coming to town. Everybody knows I'm coming down. The circus is coming to town. Everybody knows I'm coming down, 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 down. So I started talking about my friend Dave Trout, and then I get waylaid by the store. But my friend Dave is from Chicago, and he moved down here recently, and he's been a dear friend for the last bunch of years. We recruited him down here to Nashville. And he has this great nonprofit that basically supports independent artists like myself by sharing their music, interviews with them, writing about them, and we've done a bunch of shows together. over the years when he was up in Chicago and also down here in Nashville. Before he moved here, he actually used to come and live in the very room that we are doing this concert in. So it's sort of like Dave's space. So you do feel at home.
I definitely do.
You feel at home, and that's awesome. But we're gonna do 3 trivia questions. We did one already, and Andy Pilcher won that. And I don't know what you won. And what did Andy win, Dave?
He won a. I have a lot of different things here.
I'd say the pack of CDs.
Okay.
Because he is a huge music fan. Andy, how does a package of awesome? Oh, yeah, there's some good ones on there. It's a stack. Andy, you won a stack of like 5 or 6 CDs, I think. That's awesome. Because I know that you will appreciate that because we are friends and looks like Josh Garrell's on the top there, isn't it? They're all autographed too. Holy cow, that's pretty sweet. So I'm glad to have Dave here tonight, and you brought his friend Doug along, which is awesome. Good to have you here as well, sir. And I've got my friend Janet and Caleb here as well. They have not missed a show yet, as far as I know. Dude, that's a sweet shirt you're wearing. I didn't even notice when you walked in. Wait, you missed one? Oh, that's right. You missed one. Caleb is the only one that's been here for every show. You have been here for all the rehearsals. And we've got my friend Becca, our neighbor who lives around the corner. This is her 3rd show, I believe. 3rd show, and she's going home with a cassette tape finally. But she has conveniently left here the 2 previous times. And my son is here. He's sort of... Yeah, but we're family, so you have to be here. There was a season in my life where when I made this record that I did this singing story thing, and I haven't done it in a long time, but I might try to do it right now just to see how it goes. Yeah. I'm not sure why, I just started telling stories instead of telling them. I just started singing them, and the kind of words come out of my mouth, and sometimes it made sense and sometimes it did not make sense. But this is one of my favorite stories, singing about my dear friend Alan Levi, who lives down in a small town called Hamilton, Georgia. Hamilton is a small southern town here in Georgia. Sit here in Georgia, see, that's what happens. Things come out of your mouth and you don't even know what they're saying. And I'm not in Georgia, I'm actually in Tennessee. But I went down, I jumped in my Honda Accord named Grace, who was no longer with us. Have a moment of peace. And I went down and I said, Alan, I need to write some gospel songs, and I know that you have a very, very deep southern accent. And I know that you love gospel music, so can we write some gospel songs? And he said, sure, Mr. Christopher, why don't you come down here and we will write some songs? And so, as the story goes, we sat out on the front porch of Alan Levi's house down in Hamilton, Georgia, occasionally throwing the ball for his dog Sam, and I would rock back and forth on a rocking chair, because that's what you do here in the South. And he made some sweet tea, and I don't drink sweet tea, so I probably had some lemonade. But we sat there, and I said, Alan, I want to write some songs about. I want to write some songs. I want to write some southern gospel songs. He said, all right, Mr. Christopher, let's do that. Why don't you play that guitar of yours, and I will read from this big black book. No, not the Bible, but it's a big black book that I bring to the Hamilton Baptist Church every Sunday, and I write down things that God says to me, or things that strike me. And I said, that sounds like a good idea. And so I just started playing these chords over and over and over again. I just played these chords over and over and over again. And he just started reading, and he just started reading, and I was playing, and he started reading. And he came across this phrase. He said, God can do anything. And I cut him off. That's because that's what I did in my late 20s. I never listened to anybody. I said, Alan, that sounds like a great song title. God can do anything. And he said, Mr. Christopher, why don't you let me finish my statement? And I said, yes, Alan, I'm sorry, very sorry, so very sorry. He said, God can do anything but fail. and I said, yeah, that's a much better sounding song than Tyler. So we wrote this one. God wanted day and night. God wanted the dark and light. God wanted the earth and ocean, stars to blow. Tree and plant and fish and bird. And all it took was his holy word. God made it as a gift for me and you. So last of all, the Lord reached down, took the dust from off the ground, and made two living souls to sing his praise. You all gotta sing this with me. God can do anything. That's it. God can do anything. God can do anything but fail. Now God made the man and woman good. Yeah, they held in a nice neighborhood, free to love. They were free to fall. Temptation came and did them in. Perfect worlds rocked by sin. When it seemed they had no hope at all. The story could have ended here, but Jesus died to make it clear. Death could not hold him in the grave. Here we go. God can do anything. God can do anything. God can do anything but fail. Y'all sound good. Come on. God can do anything. God can do anything. God can do anything but fail. Then and now forevermore, Jesus keeps an open door for every child and man and woman to walk through. He still turns that water into wine. I messed up the words and I'm gonna go back because I don't want to sing the song wrong. Yeah, jump the line. Sometimes when you jump the line, you can't get it back, and so I'm gonna go back. He feeds the poor and heals the blind. That's what he does. Still turns that water into wine. Yes, he does. There ain't no thing too small for him to do. And I am his to testify that if he can save even my life, Lord, will not be hard work at all. God can do anything. God can do anything. God can do anything but fail. Come on, God can do anything. God can do anything. God can do anything but fail. You guys sound so good. Here we go, everyone. God can do anything. God can do anything. God can do anything but fail. Come on, we can hear some harmony. Gospel harmony. God can do anything. God can do anything. God can do anything but fail. God can do anything but Well done, well done. I hope you were singing at home. It looks like there were some folks singing. Some old friends. So glad to have you on here. Well, I thought that it would be good because we did not do Side Streets record, which was my very first live record that I did in 2001. I didn't do that one mainly just because I didn't want it to go 12 weeks. And because there was only 2 albums up to that point. And live records are great because they can serve as sort of an anthology of where you are, marking kind of the time that you record that, what you've done up until that point. And so I didn't think that that it would be good to do that record because I had just played those songs, more or less, from the silence in between. But I did want to add 2 of the songs that I haven't played yet to tonight from the Side Streets album. And this is one of those. Mother Mary stands on the dashboard of his 60 Chevrolet, bobbing up and down to the rhythm the engine makes. A plastic Buddha hangs from the silver keychain, resting by his knee. His boat sit idle, wildly waiting to be set free. I want to know what it feels like to set flight. I want to know what it feels like to hold something tight. I want to know if at the end of the tunnel there is light. So that is where I'm going. 0 to 60 in under 7 seconds time. He bragged he did it once where South Staten Road turns into a straight line. It was the grip of the wheel, the rush of speed, and the way that warm wind blew when his engine ran the way that it was meant to. I want to know what it feels like to set flight. I want to know what it feels like to hold something tight. I want to know if at the end of the tunnel there is light, 'cause there is where I'm going. No one knew where he went early that November night, but when he left, everything seemed to be alright. They say you can hear every time an angel earns its wings to fly. That night, you could hear every angel cry. I want to know if I'll be missed when I set flight. I want to know what it feels like to hold me tight. I want to know if at the end of the tunnel there is light. So that is where I'm going. I said that is where I'm going. I fell in love with this song on the road in March of 2007, and it was the first time that I went back on the road. If you tuned in last week for the Sweet Redemption album, which was the one before this one, that was released in 2008, you know that my father passed away, and a lot of the songs that were on that album were written about that. And I didn't go on the road. It's funny. I did some shows the weekend before he passed away, and crazy enough, I did some shows the weekend after, and I had forgotten about that. But it was very much a I need to do what I feel like I'm supposed to be doing because I can't do anything else right now, kind of a thing. And then I took a bunch of time off. I didn't go back out on the road until March, and my father passed away. What is today? Today is 24th. 3 days will be his anniversary of his passing, and I didn't go on the road until March of that school year. And I went on the road with a dear friend of mine named Justin McRoberts. And he lives out in California, and dear friend and dear songwriter. He and I wrote a bunch of songs on the very, very last album that I released, that We Will Remember, which will be the triumphant end to this 11-week Throwback Thursday concert series. And more news on that coming. And it was a gift for me to be on the road. It was me and him and his wife, Amy, and it was great for me because we did these shows in the round, and so I didn't have to carry the whole show. We just kind of swapped songs, and it was a natural conversation. And he had lost his dad as well, and so we kind of had just this natural rapport, and a lot of comfort came from that time. A lot of laughs, and the gift of being on the road with community. And we did this song every night, and I was moved by it every time, and so I put it on this Something Is Simple record. Red lights are flashing down the highway. I wonder if we're gonna ever get home. I wonder if we're gonna ever get home tonight. Everywhere the water's getting rough. Your best intentions may not be enough. I wonder if we're gonna ever get home tonight. But if you break down, I'll drive out and find you. And if you forget my love, I'll try and remind you. Stay by you when it don't come easy. When it don't come easy. I don't know nothing except change is coming. Year after year, what we do is undone. Time gets moving from a crawl to a run. I wonder if we're gonna ever get home. You're out there walking down the highway, and all the signs have got blown away. Sometimes you wonder if you're walking in the wrong direction. And if you break down, drive out and find you. And if you forget my love, try and remind you. Stay by you when it don't come easy. When it don't come easy. So many things that I've had before, well, they don't matter to me now. Tonight I cry for the love that I lost, the love I never found. When the last bird falls, the last siren sounds, someone will say what's been said before. It's only love that we're looking for. Drive out and find you. And if you break down, drive out and find you. And if you forget my love, try and remind you. Stay by you when it don't come easy. 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 time for another question. And the next song on this album that I say collectively, we all the time. I'm playing through it. My friends are here with me, but we are doing this. Is a song called Glimmering Gates. And the question is, who wrote that song? Because it is not my song. And Dave, what do you have for the nice winner?
Fancy cassette tape.
Oh, I love that shirt. This is one of my favorite shirts, actually. I have this shirt as well. There you go, right there. What does it say?
Rediscover your soul connection to music.
There it is. If I had enough time, I would show you, which I've talked about, all of my cassette tapes, because they're about 10 feet from, they're sitting next to my wife over there. But yes, I'm a firm believer in the cassette tape and the mixtape. So whoever answers that question, who wrote the song Glimmering Gates? And Dave, you can't answer it because I know. Yes, Tom for the win. My friend Andy Osenga wrote this song. And he's a dear friend and has played on a bunch of my records, and we've written some songs together. He lives literally around the corner up the street from me. And he was gracious enough to let me cover this song on this album. And it was one of those songs that, much like the last one, that was just kind of rocking my world at the time that I made something as simple. He's also one of the several artists that my friend Dave, who brought the prizes for this evening, supports. So where can folks go? Remind me of the website. utrmedia.org. Go there and just check out what Dave is doing. Amazing things, just supporting artists like myself and all independent artists. Which right now, for independent artists, we need all the support we can get. Because a lot of my friends who travel for a living like myself are without work, other than nights like tonight. And CD sales, to be honest, because my son just left the room, suck. So we need support, and Dave is one of those guys that helps just kind of get the word out about songwriters like myself. And if you are enjoying tonight too, my wife will post the way that you can support it. Give to me through Venmo or PayPal. I would love it. I caught myself looking in the mirror, wishing I was someone else. 'Cause I was born with a bleeding heart and veins of loneliness. And I've known it, I've held it right here in my arms, but love can't seem to break me down. And I pleaded, I begged, I bloodied my eyes just to believe it will stick around. Whoa. Swing wide the glimmering gate. Whoa. Swing wide the glimmering gate. I told myself habits and secrets just to get me through the nights. But I got the lost in a world of angles, in a city of grays and lies. I feel it, I taste it, there's longing to be free. Oh, joy, child
then will you send up a prayer for me to help me find the light? Oh, swing wide the glimmering gates, leave your pride and pain. Swing wide the glimmering gates and be innocent again, innocent again, innocent again. 'Cause one day I believe I will open my eyes to see the good work that has begun, and I'll be the only face I've ever wanted to be. Yeah, I know that I belong. Oh, yeah. Swing wide the glimmering gates, leave your pride and pain. Swing wide the glimmering gates, yeah, and be innocent again, innocent again, innocent again, and be innocent, oh, and be innocent again. Whoa, yeah. Swing wide the glimmering gates and be innocent again, innocent again, innocent again, innocent again, and be innocent again. Do what you came here to do, but do it quick, 'cause mercy is tailing you. I can see it, and it'll be here as soon as the day fades to black. Your fate will shine as bright as the moon, 'cause it did not draw. I did not draw, I did not draw that line for you to cross over. I did not draw, I did not draw, I did not draw that line for you to cross over. Trouble does what trouble does, trouble does what trouble does. The stakes are high and that simple kiss comes to shove. I can see why you would sell me out, and when you could, your soul was getting lost and the money was getting good. I did not draw, I did not draw, I did not draw that line for you to cross over. I did not draw, I did not draw, I did not draw that line for you to cross over. The bed has been broken, your spirit testifies. The words that trip from your mouth are the perfect disguise. Devotion only runs as deep as the mask hides who you truly serve and where your real intentions align. I did not draw, I did not draw, I did not draw that line for you to cross over. I did not draw, I did not draw, I did not draw that line for you to cross over. Take the stone you wield and place it in the sand. Draw a circle around where it is you stand. Feel the heat from the hell that you ever made. Get to know this place, 'cause this is where you're gonna stay. Did not draw, did not draw, did not draw that line for you to cross cross over. I did not draw. I did not draw. I did not draw in line for you to cross over. I did not. I did not. I did not know. I did not draw. I did not draw. I did not draw that line for you to cross over.
All right. All right, all right, all right. A little beverage. It looked like somebody had asked what cocktail we're drinking this evening, and I don't know what it is, but it's really tasty. What is it, love?
It's a fig bourbon cider smash.
It's cold here in Nashville, and feels like fall, and so we're having a fall cocktail this evening. I appreciate it. Whenever we started doing this cocktail theme, it's very, very exciting. I think Christmas was when we started, didn't we? Is that when we started? It's true enough. My wife said we've been making them every week. We have gotten onto themes, which is outstanding. I think the Instas probably will stop shortly. Caleb, can you be on that? Probably got a few more minutes. So I want to read something from, not my journal, no journal entries this time, but I want to read from one of my favorite books, this book by Henry Nouwen called Reaching Out. He was one of my favorite authors, and the sort of part of the inspiration for this next song on the Something Is Simple album, which was also recorded on the studio record of Sweet Redemption, which I played last week, was inspired by my father, but also inspired by this portion, this little snippet of this book. So felt like it was appropriate to read it. Henry Nouwen was a Catholic priest as well as a teacher and author, speaker, just all around kind of a guru of a man who I regret. One of my life regrets is not tracking him down before he passed away in 1997, I believe. Because one of my very first songs that I wrote, one of my first songs that I wrote that was any good came on my second album, 1996, One Man Service Station, a song called These Days, and it was inspired by a little book that he wrote called Out of Solitude. And he spends a lot of time writing about solitude and loneliness and sort of the differences and community and faith. And so hear these words from him. Often we must confess that the experience of our loneliness is stronger than that of our solitude, and that our words about solitude are spoken out of the painful silence of loneliness. This is very applicable after the last song I played. I didn't even plan that. But there are happy moments of direct knowing, affirming our hopes and encouraging us in our search for that deep solitude where we can sense an inner unity and live in union with our fellow human beings and our God. I vividly remember the day on which a man who had been a student in one of my courses came back to the school and entered my room with the disarming remark, "I have no problems this time, no questions to ask you. I do not need counsel or advice, but I simply want to celebrate some time with you." We sat on the ground, facing each other, and talked a little bit about what life had been for us in the last year, about our work, our common friends, and about the restlessness of our hearts. Then slowly, as the minutes passed by, we became silent. Not an embarrassing silence, but a silence that could bring us closer together than the many small and big events of the last year. We would hear a few cars pass and the noise of someone who was emptying a trash can somewhere, but that did not hurt. The silence which grew between us was warm, gentle, and vibrant. Once in a while, we looked at each other with the beginning of a smile, pushing away the last remnants of fear and suspicion. It seemed that while the silence grew deeper around us, we became more and more aware of a presence embracing both of us. And then he said, "It is good to be here." And I I said, yes, it is good to be together again. And after that, we were silent again for a period of time. And as a deep peace filled the empty space between us, he said hesitantly, when I look at you, it is as if I am in the presence of Christ. I did not feel startled, surprised, or in need of protesting, but I can only say it is the Christ in you who recognizes the Christ in me. Yes, he said, he is indeed in our midst. And then he spoke the words which entered into my soul as the most healing words I had heard in many years. From now on, wherever you go, or wherever I go, all the ground between us will be holy ground. And then when he left, I knew that he had revealed to me what community really means. He wore a blue sweatsuit as he broke the bread. With dirt beneath our feet and oak trees overhead. There was no steeple, there was no altar there. But he said God would lead us anywhere. Oh, the steps we take. Oh, the steps we take. Oh, the steps we take along the way will be on holy ground. Will be on holy ground. I remember sitting awake before the dawn. Doing all the ways I had done him wrong. And those words he said to me are still ringing loud. He said it's never too late to turn around, turn around. Oh, the steps we take. Oh, the steps we take. Oh, the steps we take along the way will be on holy ground. We'll be on holy ground. Be on holy ground. I bought a used black suit to go back home. I stood beneath those trees as his wayward son. We sang Amazing Grace, how sweet the sound. I made my peace as we laid him down. Oh, the steps we take. Oh, the steps we take. Oh, the steps we take along the way will be on holy ground. Oh, the steps we take. Oh, name of that book is the author is Henry Nouwen, and the book was called Reaching Out. Saw that somebody asked for that. It's a great book. Any book that you pick up by Henry Nouwen will just bless you tremendously. This record was funny. As I said, I had something to say on this album, which I normally have a lot to say, but again, the 2001 Side Streets, I didn't have anything to say that was witty or anything, actually. Perhaps because I was just freaked out because I was making a live record. I don't know. And on this album, the Something is Simple, that I affectionately refer to as Something Ass Simple. I didn't really think about that. But the title of the album comes from the story on that record before that last song. And I debated in my mind all day today about broaching that subject, and I felt like the Holy Ground bit from Henry Nouwen's book was a good thing to read, because that's where the heart of that song came from. And but it's funny because I'm not a very political person, and we're in a very divisive time right now, politically speaking. And in that album, if you know that album, I mentioned because it was like the week after the inauguration of President Obama, and I was blown away by what had just happened historically, like that we had a black president elected to office, and it was an amazing thing. And it's funny because I went back through my emails and I found a handful of emails that people were so upset that I mentioned the name Obama and that I said that I would pray for him, as I think we are all called to do for our civic leaders and our presidents and so forth. These handful of folks wrote emails and said, I'm no longer listening to your music because of what you said, which is amazing to me. That was a bunch of years ago, because I feel like we're even in a more divisive time right now. But the story, if you don't know the story that I talked about, was how amazing it was that he had gotten elected, regardless of your political belief. And then also, the story, that was pretty much it. And then it veered off to a commentary about NPR, noticing that on Inauguration Day, people did not pick up their own trash. That was sort of the heart of the message, that even in the midst of what was happening, that the DC Mall was just trashed by folks, and I sort of made the commentary that if we don't have the ability to take care of as something as simple as picking up your own trash, change is never ever going to happen. It was not a political statement at all. It was just that. And I feel this even more now, that there is so much room for civility and actually caring for our neighbors and caring for one another and speaking kindly about them. And I think in the 2009 album, the Something is Simple album, I said, church is in the spirit that you carry. And it's not about a building like that last song, that you can have church wherever you are. And this season, as you know, you've heard me speak of doing front yard church that we've been doing in our front yard here on Sundays with our neighbors gathering. It feels like that is the place, that is holy ground for me. This time right now is holy ground. And it leads into this next song, which is a song from my very, very, very first album from 1994 that I did not choose to play in this album retrospective, and we can discuss that privately if you would like to know why. But this song carried over to the Side Streets album, and comes from prayer by St. Francis, which speaks into the heart of what I was talking about in that story, the Something is Simple story from this album. That there's my prayer is that that I would be an instrument of peace, that I would have a heart to care for those around me, especially those that are not like me. That I would pick up my own trash, literally and figuratively. That I would treat others with kindness. That I would not judge. That I would not blame. That I would listen before I speak. Make me an instrument of thy peace. Fill me up with your sweet harmony. I can hear your voice in everything that I do. I can hear. Fill my heart with your awesome love. You set my life on fire. Fill me up, oh, with your song. 'Cause only you can take me higher. Take me higher than I could ever go on my own. On my own. You know me better than I know myself. 'Cause only you know the truth. When I try to hide behind the things that I think I know, your love comes to me straight as an arrow. Fill my heart with your awesome love. You set my life on fire. Fill me up, oh, with your song. 'Cause only you can take me higher. Take me higher than I could ever go on my own. On my own. Give me the ears to hear and the eyes to see. Beauty found in you and living simply. Show me the presence of your mighty word, so that I may sing and you may be heard. Fill my heart with your awesome love. You set my life on fire. Fill me up, oh, with your song. 'Cause only you can take me higher. Take me higher than I could ever go. Take me higher than I could ever go on my own. On my own. I haven't played that song in so long. So long. I very distinctly remember the inspiration for that song. I was riding the bus. The last day job that I had, I was a preschool teacher in the community of Ballard, Seattle, Washington. And I worked at a place called Kids Club, and I had long hair, and I wore different colored Chuck sneakers because I thought the kids would think that was funny. And they did. And I used to ride the bus. I think everyone should have to rely upon public transportation at some point in their lives. I think that is a good thing. And I was riding the bus from my apartment in the U District of Washington, of Seattle, Washington, on 47th Street, I think I lived on. And I was riding the bus and heading west to Ballard, and was looking at the Olympic Mountains, gorgeous, gorgeous mountains. And we drove by this church, and I was looking out the window, probably half asleep, and there was a sign in front of the church that had those words, "Make me an instrument of thy peace." And that was the first time I had ever seen or heard those words before, and I was so struck by it that I wrote it down and wrote that song based on that. So. Let's do one more trivia question before I play this next song. In honor, this song just sort of feels like that Ruth Bader Ginsburg probably would have loved this song if she had ever heard it. And so my question is, how many years was R.E.G. on the Supreme Court? Great loss to our world and to our nation. I could do the maths. Doug's throwing fingers up, and I can't.
27?
27 is the actual answer. Doug is the winner. He doesn't even have to type in. Doug wins. I'll throw out another question since Doug answered it. But I appreciate the speed of it. No, you did good. But you're friends with Dave, so you can get free UTR stuff anytime you want. Again, check out utrmedia.org for my friend Dave and the beautiful work that he does. Supporting artists. Eric, you're right. Babs, my mom should win because she was the first 27 typed in there. Babs, I love that you're on here. Love you so much. My mom has been on every single live stream, and she looks forward to Thursday nights. And so, Mom, I'm grateful to have you on here again. So let's give my mom a prize.
Okay.
Because she deserves a prize because she birthed me. What do you got for her?
She's going to get my 2020 t-shirt.
Oh, 2020 t-shirt. Oh, jeez. Knock the lights over.
Terrible.
2020. Babs, this is coming at you, okay? You're going to love this. Oh, my gosh. I cannot wait to see my mom in this shirt right here.
Yes! Oh, yes!
Keys for survival. Toilet paper, hand sanitizer, and headphones and music provided by UTR. Babs, what do you think of that? Please respond with something as witty as you did last week with the blue sweatpants comment, which we have laughed about all week. If you missed the show last week, we were talking about my father wearing blue sweatpants because it's the very first line of the Holy Ground song. And I asked my mom, you were probably wearing something late 70s, like, what were you wearing? And she said, a matching blue striped, matching blue with white striped jumpsuit, just like my dad. What was my other question? Oh, who wrote the song that I'm about to play? And that means you have to know the album to know who the artist is. So I'm just going to throw that out there. Whoever responds with that, we'll get something else from my dear friend Dave. Take your cautionary tale. Take your incremental gain. And all the sycophantic games. And throw them all away.
Burn your TV in your yard. Gather round it with your friends and warm your hands upon the fire. Start again. Take this story you've been sold. The lies that justify the pain, the giving ways upon your soul. Throw it all away. Tear up the calendar you bought. Throw the pieces to the sky. Confetti falling down like rain, like a parade to usher in your life. Take the dreams that should have died, the ones that kept you lied away when you should have been alright. Just throw them all away. With the time I waste on a life I never had, I could have turned myself into a better man, a better man. There is nothing you can buy. There is nothing you can say to fill this hole inside your heart. So throw it all away. To fill the hole inside your heart. Help me to empty out this house. The wool I've gathered all these days, and the thought I couldn't do without, and throw it all away.
Chris George in Georgia for the win. Toe the Wet Sprocket. That's right, Toe the Wet Sprocket. Glen Phillips. What a great, great, great songwriter. Dave, what did my friend Chris win?
Oh, let me see what I got.
What do you got in there for him?
I have my oldest vintage UTR t-shirt.
Well, I think you're gonna like this.
2009.
I think you're going to like this one, Chris. There it is.
Say he wanted lots of cassette tapes, but
Oh, you wanted cassette tapes. Under the radar. I will throw a cassette tape in for you, Chris.
his wife said no, please no.
Gourmet music.
I'm cleaning out the guest room.
Love it. Thank you, sir. Appreciate that. All right, we got 2 more songs for you. This is an original song that didn't make it on to any album but this one. And day was late September, steep into the night. On my watch, sleep came cold for the one more willing than I. On that bed I remember a body in great delight, with loving endless surrender, left that soul satisfied for your
me to my knees. The tired heart can split with every tear that falls. But you mend us by restoring what is lost with all, for your love crowns me like a king. Your love drops me to my knees. Your love crowns me like a king. Your love drops me to my knees. I have seen your glory, meant only for saints to see. And you have blessed this story, so I give it back to thee. For your love crowns me like a king. Drops me to my knees. Your love crowns me like a king. Your love drops me to my knees. Y'all for being here. I'm so grateful again for another night. Number 6 of 11. And next week, oh man, next week, can't even tell you how excited I am. And tonight was a little bit of a glimpse of it because there was a bunch of covers on this album. And next week, we are not going to be doing a throwback throwback of my album, but we're actually, again, the collective we are actually going to be doing covers, all covers, because I just feel like I needed to take a deep breath from my songs like the last one. And I'm going to have 2 very special guests that I cannot tell you who they are because that would ruin the surprise. But I will just say that it is going to be something. It is going to be something. Over the course of my career, I have played a lot of ridiculous covers. And some not so ridiculous covers like the ones that I have done tonight. But next week will probably be all ridiculous covers. Songs perhaps like Genie in a Bottle,
Yes!
that I played, as I remember, as an encore at a Christian college in Michigan. Why would you do that? Because why not?
Oh, that was one of my favorite shows. Opening up for my friend Jason Harrod, and I did good, I guess. And they asked me to come back for an encore, which I normally don't take encores. I'm not taking one tonight. And I came back, and I thought, why not? Why not do this in a sleepy town, Grand Rapids, Michigan, in the Black Box Theater at Calvin College? Why would you come out and sing a song that talks about rubbing yourself the right way? Oh man, I may do that one next week just for kicks. But there will be some other songs and two special guests, which I hope that you'll tune in for that, because it will be something. And then we will resume the following week with Stone Water Wood Light. One of my favorite records, and we might do that actually outside underneath the gigantic magnolia tree that I sing about in that song. If the weather holds, we might have a fire going, and I might try to shine some big lights up, and you know that deer is still going to be there. But we may do that outside. I don't know. I haven't gotten that far yet. But next week, do not miss it. Next Thursday, 9 p.m. Eastern, just like tonight, for a night of covers that you will not forget. Thanks to my friends for being here tonight. Thanks to Dave Trout from utrmedia.org. Go check that out. Thanks for his support tonight, and I will send those prize winners their gifts tomorrow, probably, after I aerate and seed my yard. So I'm gonna ask that question, yes, this question.
pass same at the time that I recorded this album. If you were, please raise your hand. Virtually speaking on the chat, because I want to know, is it there was anyone there? Anyone? I'm not going to wait because this is a slow kind of delay. And I just want to hear, I want to see if anybody was there that night. Anybody, that might be a bad kind of question to ask right now, and I might be stalling the ending to the show, and the kind of ruining the ending, so I'll just jump right back in. I've been so faithful, I swear I've been so good. Except for that one time where I fell down and sinned, but he knew that I would. I'm gonna leave this place, I wanna leave this place better than when I found it was. Something to simple, Jesus gonna be here, gonna be here slowly. Jesus gonna be here, gonna be here, so Jesus gonna be here, gonna be here, so So glad to have you. Have a blessed week, and we'll see you next week for covers.